Good afternoon. My name is Alina Shevtsova. I'm an immigration attorney from Brooklyn, New York. And in today's live Facebook presentation, I would like to share with you latest news regarding some changes to asylum interviews, public charge filings, as well as to update you on certain court-related deadlines. So thank you very much for joining me, and we're going to start. So the first news, and one of the most important news that basically clarifies the situation with public charge filings, is announcement by USCIS that those who are seeking to file for adjustment of status or change of status will have to submit Form I-944. However, USCIS is going to give you some grace period. USCIS announced that if they receive your adjustment of status package before October 13th, 2020, they will send you an RFE or request for more evidence for missing evidence, basically for Form I-944 and attachments. So it's very convenient currently because you may be in a rush to file your adjustment of status documents before October 2nd, 2020, to avoid the higher filing fees. And of course, many were not prepared to file Form I-944, Declaration of Self-Sufficiency, because, as you may be aware, the courts changed the situation with filings. First, they said that you don't need to file. Then they said you have to file. Then they said you don't have to file in New York, Connecticut, and Vermont. Then it was changed again. So there was some confusion. People did not know how to proceed. So finally, we have some clarifications. So clarification is as such. If you're filing your adjustment package before October 13th, if the government receives it before October 13th, they will accept it even if Form I-944 is missing. If after this day, then the filing will be rejected, will be sent back to you. But before, actually, they will accept it, which is very good, and they will send you a request for more evidence. So that's one of the most important news for today. Also, we just received the announcement that for those who are seeking to waiting for the asylum interview, you need to be aware that USCIS is going to be now providing interpreters to no cost to you. The interpreters are actually paid by the government, and there is a list of, I believe, 47 languages that those interpreters are qualified in, and only if you speak one of the languages that is not on the list, then you will have to bring your own interpreter. Otherwise, the government will provide the interpreter, I guess, to avoid, and they actually stated, to avoid the spread of COVID-19 and reduce the amount of people who need to come in for the interview. So that's good news. Now you don't need to pay for the interpreter, okay? The government is going to provide interpreter for asylum interviews. Remember, it's very important because failure to bring qualified interpreter usually qualifies as delay in your asylum process, which will disqualify you from work permit and sometimes even causes referral to immigration court, straight referral to immigration court without rescheduling of the asylum interview. Okay, so that's very important. So hi guys, thank you for joining. Another important deadline, another important news is that for the most courts, most immigration courts, the deadlines, the time of the hearings for non-detained cases again has been postponed. Okay, so the new date, and including through October 9, all non-detained hearings in immigration courts, for example, in New York, all those hearings have been postponed. So if you have a hearing and you're non-detained, if you had a hearing, let's say, scheduled on October 1st, it's not going to take place. It's not going to take place through October 9th. And of course, as always, we're waiting for more updates, what's going to happen, if the immigration court is going to resume or not hearings after October 9 for the non-detained respondents. So those are the most important news for now. And now if you guys have some questions, I'm going to be very happy to answer them. So thank you very much for joining. Funella, Daudu, Dali, Cholo, Nilo. How about removal proceedings? Well, removal proceedings, as I stated, for those who are non-detained, you're not in immigration jail, in New York, okay, in New York, have been canceled through October 9th, okay? If you are in other courts, you have to verify with your court, because some courts already are resuming hearings, meaning they started to have hearings in person or via phone, however, but there are some of the hearings in some courts are taking place already. But in New York, not yet. How can G1 apply for a green card? Sure, there are some ways when somebody who has a diplomatic immunity may apply for a green card, but first of all, you will have to have a waiver of that immunity executed, and depending on how you received your visa, if you are active in that status, not, you may have to comply with some other requirements, okay? But generally speaking, yes. For example, somebody who holds a G1 visa married a US citizen, so there is a way to adjust status in this situation. Hi AJ, I applied asylum after 1 year over 14 days, but my clocks start from second master hearing. It should be start from the first hearing. Why it happened? I would not know, AJ, unfortunately. I think the best person to answer this question would be your will be your attorney. Perhaps during the second master hearing, it seems that something was filed. Maybe it was not filed during the first master hearing, because why would you need 2 master hearings? Usually you need 2 master hearings if something is missing and the judge would like you to produce some documents. That's a usual answer as to why. But I think you need to ask your lawyer. Maybe your lawyer will have more information about your case. However, Hi is applying for R2 also suspended. I don't believe so, okay? You need to look at the list of the specific visas that were, if you're referring to the presidential proclamation, specific visas that were suspended. I would not have it in front of me right now, but I believe it were H-1Bs, E, if I'm not mistaken. I don't believe that R visas were on the list. Can I work with my tourist visa in the United States just for 2 months and go back to my country? No. There are special visas to work on when you come to the United States, okay? If you work on your tourist visa, when you come to the United States, you're going to lose your status and your visa will be canceled and you perhaps will never be able to come back to the United States. So no, for each purpose, there is a special visa for each purpose. If you're entering the country to work, there is a special visa for that, even though it's very hard to receive. If you are entering on a B visa, on a tourist visa, it means you're coming to the United States just to visit some places or visit your relatives, just for tourism, sometimes very limited business purposes, okay? So no, you cannot use that visa to work. Hi, Shrewd. Is I-601 waivers still being approved? Of course, I-601 waivers, there are decisions coming on I-601 waivers. Absolutely, they're being processed. Hi, Muzamel. Hi, good evening. What about condition green card for 2 years? If spouse doesn't like to help to remove conditions, then green card is expired. After that, spouse send divorce letter. Is that helping? Well, there are 2 ways to remove conditions from your green card. One way is a joint filing, okay? When you and your spouse are filing jointly. Another way is to file with a waiver of joint filing. And the grounds for the waiver would be the marriage was entered in good faith but resulted in divorce. That seems like your ground. The marriage was entered in good faith and the US citizen spouse was abusive. That's a second ground. Or removal from the United States will cause extreme hardship to the person who holds conditional status. So those are the grounds, most commonly used grounds of the joint filing requirement, okay, for the removal of condition. So basically, divorce, you were married and you were divorced, that's fine, but you still must prove that the marriage was real. It's very, very important. How long does it take? Hi, Sami. How long does it take for I-130 for direct relatives? Immediate relatives, I believe. Usually it takes about 9 months, I would say. If you're talking about immediate relatives, that's how long it usually takes to have I-130 approved. But remember, right now we have an unusual situation. We have COVID, we have layoffs in USCIS, so it may take longer, okay? Especially also depends on the country of origin. I've noticed that for some countries it takes a long time. Let's say Yemen takes very long time, much longer than from other countries, let's say. What is INA 245? INA, Immigration and Nationality Act, Section 245. You can look it up by Googling it, but it's basically a section of law that contains several provisions about adjustment, about exceptions to certain requirements for adjustment, like 245I, for example, it's a grandfathering clause. So that it's a referral to the immigration law. Hi, Nilos, thank you very much. You're welcome. When will they start interviews? Those applied September 2016. I think you're referring to the interview for asylum. I do not know. And nobody knows. I'll be honest with you. Nobody knows. Some people are already being interviewed, those who filed in 2016, and some of them who filed in 2018 are being interviewed. And some people are not. It depends, I guess, on the quality of your asylum application. It depends on where you filed it, maybe some other factors. But trust me, there is no person in the world who can tell you precisely, apart maybe from somebody who works for the government, and they will not share that, when they will call you for the interview. I know that some people say they receive some lists of people who are going to be called for the interview. That's not true. I think there was some explanation as to how the appointments are being done. Is basically randomly being done by a computer. So unfortunately, like everyone else, we'll have to wait. Hi, Eva from the Philippines. Hello. Call Trump. Somebody replied to somebody. Oh, I'm not calling Trump. So, how? Hi, Sehada. Hi, my wife washed American passport away. Is it a little crumbled? Do I still have to change your travel with that, please? Not sure what you mean, but if American passport was in any way damaged, you probably should file for a replacement, okay? I heard the work permit rule changed again, now back to 150 days. Is it right? Well, that's a good question. There is actually a stay for certain class members, okay? There is a lawsuit coming from Washington, D.C., if I'm not mistaken. Forgot the name of it, but members of that class, members of certain organizations who sued the government regarding this rule will be able to use 150-day deadline instead of 365 deadline. That's what I believe is happening right now. There is a lot of confusion, okay, going on because the lawsuits are being filed, and what happens is that a federal court, let's say in Omaha, okay, if that court rules, it may have effect on nationwide effect, basically on somebody who lives in New York. And I'm trying to keep up with everything, and I believe the latest news is that members of that particular class of people who are members of certain organizations who sued on behalf of the government. Those are the people who may enjoy 150-day filing. But remember, you can file after 150 days, but you will not receive it until 180 days pass. Okay, that's very important. Hi Ricky, can you do self-sponsored for yourself? Well, in certain situations, yes. It's a yes and no question. For example, we can say that somebody who is a VAWA qualified is self-sponsoring. It's actually called I-360 self-petition, right? Someone who is a person of extraordinary ability may sponsor themselves if they can prove that they're so great, they enjoy international and national acclaim, and people in the industry recognize them as such. As experts may sponsor themselves for, it's actually a work visa in the United States. Somebody who wins Divi lottery, we can say that they're self-sponsoring themselves. There are some other very limited situations when a person can sponsor themselves. But in each case, a person has to meet certain very specific requirements, okay? So it's a yes and no question, I guess. Hi, Oriel. I filed asylum case and my clock had 45 days. I was waiting for an interview. After doing the fingerprints, they told me that the case was closed. What should I do? I guess you need to find out why it was closed, okay? I wouldn't know why. So your attorney or person who helped you to file probably will have some information about that. You can ask a different lawyer to review your records and see what happened. Sometimes it happens because you have a notice to appear issued but not filed in court. So the situations may vary, okay? I wouldn't be able to answer precisely, unfortunately. But thank you for your question and thank you for watching. Hi, Kazi. I have missed my 1-year deadline for asylum application. Is it any problem to get my green card even though I approved for my asylum? Listen, if your asylum was approved, then I guess the 1-year deadline was resolved in your favor. Perhaps you qualified for some sort of exception, and by itself, it does not affect your application for the green card. When you file for the green card after you have asylum, you need to meet other qualifications, okay? So 1-year deadline is no longer relevant if your asylum case was in fact approved. Hi, Charlene. How long for I-130? Well, I just answered this question. It's basically 9 months if it's I-130 for an immediate relative. It's my estimate, it depends on the situation. Some I-130s may be pending for a long time. Sometimes people are called not once, but twice, 3 times for the interview. It depends on the situation. Usually, I would say, if I had to guess, I would say it's 9 months for immediate relatives. If you're sponsoring someone else, brother or sister, very long time. It can take years to receive just an approval. Hi, Stuart. If my wife divorced and I got only paperwork, can I still get a green card? Not sure what you mean by that. What paperwork? Maybe, I need to know more about that to be able to answer your question. Hi, Ree. Hi, Juan. Ha. Hola. Hola. I guess hola, right? I don't speak Spanish, but I'm trying. Give me a visa. If I had an ability to give somebody a visa, I would be glad to do that, but I don't. Only the United States government can do that. Just remember this. There are some, advertisements online saying that they guarantee you something, they will get you a job in the United States. Guys, it's not that easy. If it was that easy, I guess we'll all be out of work, immigration lawyers, right? And we wouldn't need USCIS. Only the United States government has ability to give someone a visa, a green card, citizenship. And for that reason, no attorney can guarantee you anything. Because if a lawyer says, I guarantee that you're going to win your case, that's not ethical and that's not right. because then a lawyer who is not working for the government and does not make decisions on your case make promises on behalf of the United States government, which cannot be. Well, thank you very much for joining me today. I enjoyed communicating with all of you. Hi, Luis. Hi, Yusuf. Thank you very much for your questions. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and like, share this video. And I hope to have more of this live Q&A sessions with you. And I hope to see you soon.